What's going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? It's your boy, the Truth. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness on that face, neck, and chest. And Black Adam is headed to a successful weekend, and I couldn't be more happier if I was watching the Real Housewife in the cult classic, The Little Sperm Maid. So without further ado, let's break this bitch down and let's see what we yeah. So this comes from Eric Davis. Box office with 26.8 million, Black Adam scores the best opening day ever for The Rock in a starring role. If it finishes with 60 million plus, it will be the second best opening ever for a solo DC movie that doesn't star the core four, Batman, Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman, behind only Joker. And that's great news for Black Adam. That's great news for Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's great news for DC fans because like I said, a successful DC film means great things for the DC brand overall, and not just Zack Snyder's Justice League and not just his Snyderverse, but for every single project going forward. Preferably Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, etc.
Man, shit ain't got serious, man.
And also we have more statistics. Black Adam audience breakdown. Male, female, 65%. 35%, under 25, 35%, 25, 34, 26%, 35 and older, 40%. RT audience score is 89%. Cinema score is B+, and the post track is 4 out of 5. Like, I don't know what post track is, but the audience score is at 89%, which is good. And it's really important for this film to have good word of mouth, and it seems like people are really enjoying this film. And like I said in my review, this isn't the best DC movie of all time. It has some silly shit, of course. It has some all right, this is some eye-rolling moments, but overall, it's just a really fun film overall.
What did he say?
And there's this hashtag going on with Bring Back Zack Snyder with over 75,000 tweets. And like I said, if you want any chance of a sliver of a pubic hair for Zack Snyder to come back in any capacity to do whether a Man of Steel 2 or Justice League, you have to support these DC films. Because like I said, Warner Brothers and David Zaslav are going to take a very watchful eye with this Black Adam and how it performs. And if it performs poorly, then David Zaslav and the Warner Brothers executives are going to look at that box office and well, people claimed they want Henry Cavill back as Superman, but this box office says differently. And people claim, they want a new route for DC and they want to fund DC films, but they didn't show up to see The Rock's film. So what's going on here? Like, there is a disconnect here. And my fear and what they're going to do is they're going to reboot everything because, Warner Brothers, they're going to panic. Like, oh, my God, you see, well, nobody showed up. So it seems like we're doing something wrong. So just clean slate, reboot everything. And some of the Snyder fans, not most of the Snyder fans, because most of the Snyder fans understand what I'm saying, but some of the Snyder fans have this notion, this crazy idea that if all of the DC films underperform, Flash, Aquaman, the upcoming Wonder Woman, and Blue Beetle, Shazam, if they all underperform, that's going to entice Warner Brothers to call up Zack Snyder and let him return to finish off his Zack Snyder saga. Listen to me right now. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. They're not going to do that. Why on God's green earth are Warner Brothers and David Zaslav specifically going to call Zack Snyder and tell him to come back and give him a $200 million paycheck to finish off his Justice League Part 2 and Part 3 when the same cast members had their films underperform? Does that make any sense to you whatsoever? They're not going to do that. If these films underperform, and that's a big if, they are not going to call up Zack Snyder to come back to finish off his Zack Snyder saga. They're not going to do that because they're going to see the box office returns of the cast member solo films, and they're going to be like, well, they all underperformed. So why are we going to give Zack Snyder, who is a controversial director as is, and whose films haven't been critical darlings, to say the least, right? With Man of Steel with 56%, with Sucker Punch, a horrible score. Batman vs. Superman got 28%. And again, Rotten Tomato scores are bullshit, but the perception of Zack Snyder is he is a very controversial director. And when you look at their box office drops over the previous weekends, they're not solid. They're not great. So why would Warner Brothers trust Zack Snyder with a $200 million paycheck to do Justice League Part 2 and Part 3? they're not going to do that. They're going to reboot. And I don't want a reboot. I want these films to continue so we can have a small chance of Zack Snyder to return. So if you want the Snyderverse, if you want DC films to continue, support Black Adam. Let's get this shit going and support The Rock, all right? Hit like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord to join the Truth Army. Shit, if you like the video, be so kind. As always, push your comments down below and give me your thoughts. If you like Black Adam, if you support DC, if you love DC, go watch the film. You'll have a fun time. It's not the best movie of all time, but you will have just a grand old time watching your favorite DC heroes, all right? Love you all. Stay safe. Truth out.
Y'all take it easy. I'm out.